What's going on, guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Harrison, and today we are in my garage, which is essentially my new workshop. I just bought a new 3D printer, the SOVOL SV01 Pro. It is my first 3D printer. I am very excited. I have never 3D printed before. I've wanted to get into this space and hobby for a very long time. And now I finally did it. So let's unbox this and we can start failing prints together. Alright, let's go ahead and get this open. First things first, you got your instruction manual. I definitely will be reading this. Ooh, there it is. Alright, so it does come with some filament. I've heard that in the box filament is not the greatest of quality. Just in the research that I've done, it is PLA, so we shall see. Alright, in this little box, micro SD and I think the USB, power cables, nozzle, some tools. Set that aside for now. And we got our nice screen. I will peel this off later. And then all of our stuff. Before I start pulling things out of the box without an actual plan, I'm going to read the manual and make sure I get it set up in the proper way. I think what I need to do is put this on the ground. The gantry is attached to the base, by this cable, so it's not in separate parts. So that's going to be tricky to get it situated. But step one being we got to connect the gantry to the base. And I need to put it on this table. So let me figure out a way to do that. Here's our base, and we got our gantry. We'll take the foam off. And then this is the right side. And it needs to lock in. But we need to raise up. Okay, now that we got that raised up, we can get that inserted. Oh, kit also comes with some snippers, comes with a plate scraper, a whole slew of tools, screwdrivers, Allen keys, wrenches. Alright, this is what I'm looking for. Our M5 screws. Put 2 on each side. Alright, and then the last thing from our box is our filament holder, which just gets clamped in there. Filament sensor connection gets plugged in back here. A couple connectors back here, and then I'm going to add in our main power line. For the purposes of today, just to get it set up, I'm attaching it to the wall, but I do have a power surge protector coming, just in case something happens that the machine doesn't get fried. But just for the purpose of getting it turned on today, we're just going into the wall. Alright, we got power. Now I need to start the process of leveling, which I think this is a manual level, which means I will have to go through and level the bed myself with these little gears on the bottom. I've heard that automatic leveling is the way to go. That was a big jump in price point, and because I'm just getting into the hobby, I figured why not start with something that I can ease my way into. Alright, maybe it is an automatic level. I hit leveling and it just started doing this, so we shall see. Alright, so the next step in this process is to stick a sheet of paper, and then I have to lower the Z-axis until it touches the paper, and then I can pull it out and it just barely scrapes it. It's moving at such small increments that it doesn't even seem that it's moving. Alright. It's kind of scraping it. Now I'm going to start the bed leveling. Aha, okay. So it is partly manual in the sense that I need to adjust the bed so that it's level to the nozzle. And I can do that by using the dials on the bottom. I'm so sorry, excuse the the noise outside. But essentially I have to use the dial to get the bed to essentially get to the same point of scraping that paper. Right now it's doing an auto level. I don't think this is what I need exactly. The plate is a little finicky, so I'm still trying to figure that out. Also, I think this plastic table is not a good idea. It's a little wobbly, so I will have to invest in some sort of a table. Another thing I'm going to try is just use my phone as a leveler. The bed is hot. I don't think this is the smartest. I don't have a level. But hey, it's working. Okay, that's level. That's level. Now I just need to move this over so I can see if that's level. Let me check the center of the bed. It's level. It's level. Alright. So either the auto leveling or the whatever I was doing to help those things seem to have worked. Let me just go through and confirm. This does seem a little high. Yeah, the nozzle is scraping, so I need to figure that out. Okay, so I think I got it. It's going to do another just auto adjustment on its own, and I think that should be the end of the leveling. It took way longer than I thought, about 20-ish minutes, but you know, I think it's fine. You can't see it from my camera, but I figured I'd punch in for a little better view. But this little astronaut guy is walking along each point of the bed as the bed is leveling, and these dots mean that that point has been leveled or touched by the bed. See it? That's the little leveling sensor. It's just barely touching the bed. And there we have it. It should be nice and leveled. So I am not going to use the PLA that came with this. I'm going to use the one that I ordered. It smells very plasticky. I was trying to see if maybe there was like a new filament smell. Smells like plastic. All right, and then we get fed through here. Goes through there into here. All right. printer's all set up, it's leveled, it's ready to go, it's nice and hot. However, I need to load this USB up with a file to print, and the file then needs to go onto this micro SD in the back of this USB that goes into here. And that's how it gets printed. There are no test prints or anything already built into the printer. You will need to bring over your own files to the printer. So let's go upstairs to the computer, get it loaded up, and we'll come back down and try our first test. Alright, we're in my office. I plugged in the USB drive, which has some operating manuals, it has the software drives and all that stuff. I'm going to go ahead and open up these files and start downloading the driver. The driver is finished installing. Now the app is about to launch. There it goes, the Ultimaker Cura. Alright, and now I need to just make an account through Ultimaker. I now have my slicing software open, and now I need to figure out that. So this is what we're going to print. It would be a cardinal sin for me to not have my first print be something Star Wars related, so I will be printing the comlink from Star Wars, you know, the classic communicator for pretty much any character that you've seen in the Star Wars series that use one of these. So I will be printing one of these. I have the files downloaded. I got this on Thingiverse from a creator called Mooslug. And if you want to print this, I will link it down below. All the links to the printer, to the file, I will link it all in the description below if you would like to do this and follow along with me. So I have already gone ahead and downloaded it. Now I just need to bring the file there and just see how we can get it then to the printer. I'm starting to bring my objects into the slicer, but right now the problem that I'm running into is that the scaling has been scaled up 10,000 times the size of the file. So I don't really need a giant comlink. So now I just need to figure out how to not have that happen, and then we can print. I kind of just guessed. Being completely honest, I just guessed. I need to really just dive in deep into the scaling process and how things should be scaled. I found a post on Reddit that if STL files don't have exact measurements in them, Cura will just shoot out whatever it thinks is accurate. So I scaled it down from 10,000 to about 2,000. We're going to go ahead and print that and see what happens. But if it's not right, we'll just scale it up or scale it down. But I've already sliced it. It's on the micro SD. The print says it's going to take about 41 minutes, which is pretty fast in my opinion. So maybe it's a little small. So let's print it out. Let's see what happens. I'll meet you back down in the garage. So now that the micro SD is plugged in, we can now access it here. And I know I said before that there were no preloaded prints on the printer itself. While there are no preloaded prints on the actual printer, there are preloaded prints on the micro SD, which I didn't know. You have your choice of an XYZ cube or a 3D Benchy. I'm just going to go ahead and do the one that I set out to do. I'm going to go ahead and hit print. It's calculating. Oh, I already up the print bed. So that's awesome. I put a hole in it. Looks like I already need to do maintenance. I think I was a little aggressive on the scratch test. There's a scratch in the print bed and there's a hole. Good thing these things come off and are replaceable. But right now it looks like it's calibrating and it's clocking the time. Oh, it's already going. So the print's already failing. I don't think the filament was heated enough. There's a lot of stringing happening already. So I'm gonna give it a few seconds here to kind of do something, and then I'm gonna reset it. All right, so that didn't quite work. Let's try round 2. So I decided to change direction here. I'm just gonna print a benchy just as the test. It's heating up. I may need to change up a few things just to make sure that the print is actually working. So I'm just gonna go with a regular test print and see how that fares. And then we can move on from there and see what I need to do. All right, I wanted to get in really close just to see, but yeah, so far this benchy is working. We have the first couple layers, no stringing so far. So I'm gonna let it do its thing and come back. It is a little loud. Thank goodness we're in the garage. So, but yeah, we'll see how long. It's saying 3 hours. So I'm not sure what quite happened, but I stepped away for about 20 minutes, and when I came back down, the print had stopped. Looks like the temperature also decreased quite a bit. No stringing, nothing crazy happened. So it asked me if I wanted to resume. I hit resume. Let's see what happens. We have a bit of an update. It's still printing. We're a lot further along in the process than we were in the previous print, so that's great. And then as I was standing here checking on it, the one thing I noticed was we didn't do this. Oh wow, this is really on here. That was not as satisfying as I wanted. That was a horrible plastic pull, but the screen looks so good, and now I know why it was reflective. So it's printing. We have about 15 minutes left on this print. I can already tell that I'm not super happy with the quality, but we'll see once it's all done and I can actually take a look. All right, we're done. First print. You know, it's okay. It's a little, I don't know, it's a little bumpy. You can totally see all the layer lines. There's no real string. So, I mean, on that sense, I'm happy with it. It's very sturdy. I can't break it. I mean, I would have to put like some real force into it, which is really good. I feel like this is a really nice, strong print. Like I said, there's no stringing happening. You can just really see all the layer lines. I think the nozzle might be a little too close to each layer. At one point I did hear it kind of scraping against the previous layer, so I may have to adjust that, but we got a working printer and I'm very excited. Hey y'all, Future Harrison here. So I started making this unboxing video over 2 months ago. It has taken me so long to get the fine details and the settings calibrated just right. There was a lot of things going wrong, a lot of different things, from being on the wrong surface. That plastic table was way too wobbly. It was causing the extruder to shake and just make really inconsistent prints. And because of that, even putting it on the ground in the garage, it still wasn't level. So I brought it up into my kitchen, put it on a flat, level countertop, and started changing the settings. I even visited a local 3D printing shop. There's a shop down the street from me that has
They teach classes in 3D printing, and they sell products. And one of the gentlemen there will just give me some pointers and references to check out. And with a lot of troubleshooting, Reddit, YouTube, Discord forums, after a lot of those things, I finally got to the point where the printer was finally working. But it took a long time. I went through bed level test after bed level test after bed level test, 8 different bed level testings before it was finally in a place where I could start fine tuning. And it got way worse before it even got better. Then it got to the point where I started thinking, well, maybe I'm not heating my filament hot enough, or maybe I'm heating it too hot. And same thing with the bed. So I did a couple temperature towers, and then those turned out pretty fine. I figured out where, for the PLA that I was using, where that temperature was best. So that did help in that sense. I popped out a couple XYZ cubes, and same thing, but that led me to the temperature tower test because there was a lot of melting on the bottom. The bed level testing wasn't the end all be all for the leveling, and you might think that it should have been, but it wasn't. So a lot of fine tuning started happening, and I just kept cranking out benchy after 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 benchy. So many of these boats. I have so many. I have so many boats. But this final boat, this final benchy, I finally got it right. And just changing things and messing with the settings, constantly twisting knobs and figuring out which one goes where, and the certain Z depth of the extruder, and just changing the settings and just playing around, did I finally get to a good place. Now my prints are coming out super smooth. I've moved on to other projects. Videos of those will be coming out soon, but we are now on track. And in all honesty, in all transparency, this was extremely frustrating. This was the biggest hill to climb and peak to summit as far as getting into this 3D printer. I didn't think this would be such a steep slope that it was. There was a big learning curve, and the frustration that came out of not getting your print right the first time was just through the roof. So if you're looking to start printing and you're here to see what comes in the box of the 3D printer of this SOVOL SV01, and you're thinking it's a good printer, it is. Let me just be full honest. This is my first and only printer, and I have to say, I love the stuff that's coming out of it. I have seen other people's printers. I know people with Elegoo's and with Creality printers, and I've seen their stuff, and it's great. This is very comparable. You have all Creality parts. Everything that is built on this machine is a Creality. The sensor, the extruder, the bed, it's just been rebranded, repackaged. And everything that's come out of the printer is great. There are some hiccups. I think I need to change where I have it plugged in. It is losing some power sometimes, but after putting it into a flat surface and just fine tuning those points, dude, the prints come out borderline flawless. And now that everything is set up the way it needs to be, I have no problem, and now it's smooth sailing. So just stick with it, is all I have to say. And I know that's probably not the advice you want to hear from someone who's only been in this, actually printing for, I would say, 2 weeks now. In this whole 3 month journey, I've only actually been getting 2 weeks worth of good prints. But it was worth it to go through all that frustration, because now I know exactly how my printer works. I know how to change the settings if something comes up. I know how to troubleshoot it. So I think for me, that was the best part, and the most frustrating part about this printer is going through all these different frustrations, but coming out on the other side knowing exactly how this printer works. Having said all of that, I'll send you back to past Harrison, and he can wrap up this video.
thank you so much for joining me on this unboxing. I'm very excited to get a lot more prints going. I have a lot of plans, a lot of ideas that I want to do. There's a lot of Star Wars stuff coming. Believe me, I'm very excited. I have an entire cosplay planned. So if you would like to see that and be a part of my journey in 3D printing, consider subscribing. Please like this video, share it. Let me know what kind of things you would like to see 3D printed. Right now I am up for anything. I want to learn, I want to try, I want to make. So let's make. Thanks for joining me, and I will catch you back in my new workshop.
Woo!